The beginning of Parashas Savo delineates for us the process of the Vidu Bikurim, which is called the confession of the Bikurim. This was a process by which the farmer would go out into his farm. He would see certain fruits, the fruits of which the land of Israel is praised, the Shiva Minim. He takes those fruits and says, okay, this is the area of these fruits which were first ripened. He marks those. Eventually, when he harvests them, he takes them to Yerushalayim. He comes to the Beis Hamikdash. He gives it to the Kohen, and then he recites a number of things. One of the things that he says in his recitation, which is a praise to God, a praise to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for having allowed him to come to the land of Israel, to be able to plant and to be able to reap the benefits of his planting and his hard work. He thanks God for all of this. But one of the things that he says is he backtracks into Jewish history, and he says, Arami Oved Avi. Arami Oved Avi means that an Aramean, Oved Avi, had tried to destroy my father. Now, this isn't the farmer's father per se, but it's the farmer's forefather. A description of the story of Lavan and Yaakov. That Lavan, who is the Arami, tried to destroy Yaakov, who is Avi. Now the question is an obvious one. This is also a question that we have in the Haggadah, because in the Haggadah on Pesach night, we also refer to Lavan as being an Arami. Arami representing the place that he came from. Aram Naharaim. So why is Lavan's name not simply used here? That Lavan tried to destroy my father, tried to destroy Yaakov. Why is the word Arami mentioned here instead of simply saying Lavan? So if Yaakov Kamenetsky suggests that the word Arami is used instead of Lavan because Arami represents all of the people who lived in the same place as Lavan. It wasn't Lavan alone who tried to fool Yaakov, but it was everyone else. How so? Well, we know how did Lavan try to fool Yaakov. Most notably, of course, the story in which Yaakov worked hard for Rachel, and Yaakov is told that Lavan is going to make a big party in which there's going to be a wedding. The wedding is going to be between Yaakov and Rachel. Lavan takes Leah and puts him in the place of Rachel. Says Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, all the people of the town knew that Lavan was tricking Yaakov. They all came to attend the wedding. They all saw that Leah was being put in the place of Rachel. But no one said a thing to Yaakov. And because no one said anything, they all bear responsibility for the fact of having tried to trick Yaakov. So it wasn't simply Lavan alone who tricked Yaakov, but it was all the Aramis, all of the people who came from that place. And that's why the Pasuk says Arami Oved Avi, and not simply Lavan Oved Avi. I think that this lesson is a very pertinent one when it comes to the month of Elul. Elul is a time that we begin working on ourselves. We have some self-introspection, both in our relationship with God, with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and our relationship with our fellow man. Of course, it's a time that we need to ask forgiveness from people that we harmed in any way. But I think it's also during this time important for us to look at everything that's transpired in the year and ask ourselves a question. Has someone been hurt in our presence and we were silent when we could have done something to assist them? Were we in a situation in which there was a Lavan who was trying to trick someone who was as innocent as Yaakov, and we knew that they were trying to do this, but we didn't say anything? And if that's the case, then we need to ask forgiveness. We need to ask mechila from that person, from that Yaakov. And we also need to ask forgiveness from ourselves, from God, for the fact that we allowed something to transpire before our eyes and we didn't do anything about it. One of the ways that we change ourselves from year to year is we try to learn from our experiences in order to improve ourselves. And one of the areas that we can improve ourselves by recognizing that the Torah tells us that we need to stand up for someone who can't stand up for themselves. When a person is tricked, they don't have the ability to stand up for themselves because they don't know that they are being tricked. So as we go through this month of Elul, may we heed this message and think about all that's transpired in the last year within our relationships, and if we at all were responsible for not stepping up or lifting our voices when it needed to be heard. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.